What's up, everyone? This is FP Sticks. The Retro Cup comes today in Go Battle League, and so today I wanted to quickly go over some of the top picks for the Retro Cup, as well as showcase some battles with 3 different Retro Cup teams that I kind of thought of that I think are going to have a good amount of play in the Retro Cup. So within the Retro Cup, there's no Dark, Steel, or Fairy typings, and so if you go onto pvpoke.com and click on the Rankings tab, and sort by Retro Cup. Here you will see some of the top picks for the Retro Cup. So because of no Steel or Dark types, Psychic types are really going to have a lot of play. Some of my favorite picks in this league are like Cresselia and Defense Deoxys, because really the only thing that's going to punish those Psychic types are the Ghost types and the Lick users being the normal types. But even in those matchups, they're still going to receive neutral damage. So you can see Lickitung being number 1 here, Walrein, Frostlass. There's a lot of ice types that are featured within this cup as well, because there's no steel to really hard counter them. And so even some of the rock types you'll see like Regirock are still going to take neutral damage. Walrein having that earthquake to threaten Regirock is very, very nice. I feel like Altaria is a very risky pick in this cup because of all of the ice types, but it is rated fairly highly. So I'm not going to dive too deep into the PvPoke rankings here. I encourage you to go onto pvpoke.com and check out the rankings for Retro Cup, but let's jump right into these battles and showcasing the 3 different teams that I have selected for today's video. Alright, so all of these battles were some practice battles that I did with some of my patrons, so huge shout out to all my patrons. By the way, if you'd like to support the channel and become a patron, there's always a link down in the description to do that. But the first team that I'm going to showcase is one of my favorite teams from over a year ago when Retro Cup came around the last cycle, and it actually features kind of a fun Pokemon of Zangoose and then double Psychic in the back. I ran this in the past with Defense Deoxys instead of Cresselia, but with more Walreins, I kind of like having the Grass Knot Cresselia, and it just gives me some different fast move damage other than double counter users in the back. But Zangoose is a really nice core breaker. It's a normal type that can beat the other normal types if you're able to land those close combats, and you have a lot of play against the Psychic and Ghost types, and then the 2 Psychic types in the back are going to protect you from the fighters. So Altaria lead, let's jump into this first battle. Altaria lead is pretty awkward. You do hit it for neutral damage with the Zangoose, but Zangoose is very, very frail. So in general, this is a pretty dominant matchup for Altaria. It gets slightly better if you commit 1 shield with the Zangoose, because that's going to allow you to get your 3rd Night Slash off and potentially draw a shield from the Altaria. I do get a boost on that charge move, so my Shadow Claw damage is now going to be ramped up a bunch. I will shield that up and able to get to this Night Slash here. I'm either going to win the lead or get a shield from this Altaria. They let it go, so I've won the lead. Out comes a Regirock, and Medicham is a very, very solid response to Regirock. The typical moveset for Regirock is Stone Edge and Focus Blast, which Medicham totally walls. However, Regirock also learns Zap Cannon. Not many people run Zap Cannon on Regirock, but it's kind of a nice surprise, especially if you want to use like Regirock as a safe swap, because if a fighter comes out, you're able to hit for pretty strong neutral damage. Gonna throw the Psychic here, and my opponent actually ends up having an XL Bonsly in the back, so they're running like a double rock team. So once that Altaria got out of the picture, Medicham was pretty free to roam in this backline. I think Bonsly is running counter as the fast move and then has access to Rock Slide as well. This Grass Knot's going to hit for super effective on this Bonsly and most likely take it out. Very fun, spicy pick from my opponent there. We're able to win the game. One more battle with this team, Zangoose into Araquanid, another kind of neutral matchup where in general I feel like Araquanid will be able to take this just because of the sheer bulk, but if Zangoose is able to get a boost, that's very favorable for me. I really need this Araquanid gone because it is pretty devastating to my Cresselia and my Medicham, so I need to get this thing as low as possible. Now, it feels bad to shield a Bubble Beam, so I think I end up letting this go. They go for the big move of Bug Buzz, nice play. Out comes Regirock. So my opponent is safe swapping a Regirock, most likely trying to bait out my fighter. So I'm anticipating whatever they have in the back is potentially going to be weak to fighting as well. My opponent goes for the Focus Blast. They're both Focus Blast and Stone Edge deal resisted damage to Medicham. I farm up a bunch and then land the Psychic. Out comes the Araquanid once again. I'm going to farm up and then throw this Ice Punch. I'm hoping that my Medicham is going to have play against whatever they have in the back. They end up no-shielding the Ice Punch. Nice play. This should just be a Bubble Beam. So I believe I end up letting this go and then farming down. In the back is a Frostlass. I'm going to go straight for this Psychic. And then I will only need to land one Grass Knot on this Frostlass. Now, Avalanche will hit for super effective. It does not KO a Cresselia at full health, but after all of this Powder Snow damage in the 2-shield scenario, Shadow Ball definitely gets pretty threatening. So they do not bait. They go straight for the Shadow Ball. And this is a CMP tie here. Cresselia is definitely going to lose that CMP. And we shield up another Shadow Ball. And I should easily be able to get to this Grass Knot to be able to take out this Frostlass, and then their Araquanid is very, very low in the back. Frostlass, another really strong pick in this cup. With way more Wall Rain around, though, it might not be as solid, but still a pretty good Pokemon. Okay, the next team, Lickitung, we know it's the top Pokemon. Nidoqueen running Stone Edge, and then Jellicent in the back. So, again, we have a lead that is like weak to fighting types, and then 2 different ways of covering that fighting type weakness in the lead. I'm up against a Shadow Kanto Ninetales. This thing is very scary with Overheat, so I end up shielding the first move, but it ends up just being a Weather Ball bait. Gonna throw another Body Slam. I get the first shield. Now, if I correctly shield up an Overheat right here, this does put me pretty significantly ahead in this matchup, so I will shield up. They end up switching in a Shadow Lugia. Holy cow. This is a really spicy pick. The lick damage is hitting for super effective, but the Dragon Tail damage is hitting for neutral, and this Sky Attack is going to do a decent chunk of damage. Not able to get to another move there, really unfortunate. I'm hoping that my I actually go into Nidoqueen here because I'm recognizing that I can get to a Poison Fang before this Lugia reaches a Sky Attack. What are they going to have in the back here? They still have that Ninetales. It's a Hypno, and right here I make a mistake. I should have gone into my Jellicent immediately, but I was really not anticipating a Hypno. My opponent was running a double Psychic team. Very cool. And they're running Shadow Ball. Oof, that's really bad for me. So there's no way that I'm going to be able to have enough energy with my Nidoqueen to take out that Hypno. If I would have swapped a little bit faster, I would have been able to threaten it a little bit more, but my opponent played very well. I do deny the confusion here, but and even though I get a shield, I'm not going to be able to reach the big move of Stone Edge, and this Poison Fang is just barely not going to do enough damage to knock out that Hypno. So really well played by my opponent there. One more game with this team, Lickitung into Medicham, fairly neutral, but we have 2 better responses in the back. Okay. Because they're slow to the response, I'm able to get to this Stone Edge before they reach an Avalanche. Do they respect the Stone Edge? No, they do not. So just like that, I'm able to flip switch advantage in my favor and have a pretty healthy Nidoqueen here. So I'm going to shield, farm down, Stone Edge really coming in clutch with all the ice types that are in the Retro Cup. Out comes a Lickitung. I'm going to do as much chip damage on this thing as possible with all these Poison Jabs and Poison Fangs. So I land that first move, and this Body Slam is not going to be enough to knock me out. I'm hoping to get to another Poison Fang, and I'm able to get there. So their Lickitung is going to be very weak at this point and pretty low in health. They do have some energy stored, and they're up a shield. Going to bring my own Lickitung out, and out comes the Medicham once again, but I am down a shield. I really should have shielded up this first move here. And it's actually pretty impressive how much of a fight Medicham can put in this matchup if you're up a shield. They land that Psychic. I'm going to go for a Bubble Beam bait. I do get the shield. That's good for me. Now, I'm going to shield this up, but they bait me with Power Up Punch. My opponent is running Power Up Punch Psychic. And so now I know that they're going to outpace me to this next Psychic, unfortunately. They shielded my Shadow Ball, nice call. But because they are debuffed, I know that my Lickitung can easily hang with this. They're actually at neutral right now because I debuffed them once and then they ramped up with Power Up Punch. But this is totally fine. Their Lickitung is pretty low, pretty much in Body Slam range. So even though they're ramping up their counters, I'm going to throw the Body Slam here because the counter damage is a lot more threatening than the Lick damage and the Body Slam damage from this Lickitung. Just need to get to one more move here and we will be able to take this game. The Nidoqueen on the swap, running Stone Edge, really was able to surprise that Frostlass and flip this match into my favor there. Good game. Alright, the third team, Cofagrigus, Regirock, and Walrein in the back. We have two things that are weak to fighting in the back, and Cofagrigus is a very, very hard counter to the fighters in this cup. We actually end up making a simultaneous swap here, and I now have my Regirock aligned with this Kanto Ninetales. Very, very positive matchup for Regirock here. The rock typing going to be resisting all of the fire type damage from Kanto Ninetales. On the off chance that they're running Solar Beam, that's a little bit threatening, or if they're running Psyshock, but most Ninetales nowadays just go for the double fire moveset because Overheat is so powerful. So I do end up shielding that Overheat, farm up a little bit more, and I'm able to get to a Stone Edge here. But we have a shield advantage, we have switch advantage, and we have an energy advantage with this Regirock. Going to go for this Focus Blast. This is going to do a lot of damage. And then I actually end up swapping in my Cofagrigus here to getting a jump start on energy. They land the Power Whip, that's totally fine. I am running Dark Pulse on the Cofagrigus. It's slightly less energy than Shadow Ball. So it offers you kind of a bait move. You save a little bit of energy. Out comes that Shadow Gyarados once again, and we're going to be able to get to this Shadow Ball to KO the Gyarados. Just need to shield up this Aqua Tail. Shadow Gyarados running Dragon Tail, another really spicy pick. Kind of fun to see. And Walrein did nothing in this match, but that was just Cofagrigus and Regirock domination. One more battle here. Terrible lead with the Lickitung, so I'm going to swap into the Regirock and see what they want to do here. They tried to catch a Focus Blast on their Frostlass, but now I have a very heavily loaded Regirock. I can easily shield once, farm down here. Their Lickitung does have energy loaded though, and Power Whip is going to hit for super effective damage on the Regirock. So we'll see what my opponent wants to do here. They bring in the Lickitung again. I'm going to go straight for the Focus Blast here. And this Lickitung is kind of a core breaker. Because it has play against the Cofagrigus and it's like neutral with Walrein. It has access to that Power Whip. So I end up shielding and then going for another Focus Blast here. It gets the final shield, and now this Lickitung is just going to go on a tear against my backline, unfortunately. Have to bring out the Walrein here because at least I can hit it for neutral damage. And they're going to be able to chip me with a super effective Power Whip here. Not ideal. They're still so healthy. And they end up catching an Icicle Spear on their Walrein. Amazing play. Things are not looking good for us. I got to swap into my Cofagrigus here. But most likely, the Lickitung is just going to be able to farm me all the way down and then have energy stored for my Walrein. So they're definitely going to be able to take this game here. But the Retro Cup drops today. It should be a fairly interesting meta. There's a lot of Pokemon that are pretty flexible and good safe swap options. Again, I recommend that you go on pvpoke.com and check out some of that stuff. But let me know down in the comments, what are you planning on running in Retro Cup? I'm going to try out a bunch of different teams and try to continue to climb. Hopefully the leaderboards will be released at some point soon because I'll be interested to see kind of where I'm at on that. But best of luck with your battles, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next video.